It sounds very different from our last record. Our last record had very few guitars on it. It was lots of keyboards in it. This one has more guitars in it, but it's also the first record without Chris. So we have a new guitarist, Justin, and Elliot as well plays keyboard and sings on the record. So it's a different sounding record because there are different musicians on it as well. So although there are guitars on this one, they don't sound like they have done previously on our records. So we tried to make a big kind of sweeping, I guess slightly more traditional sounding rock record. We'd spent maybe a year and a half working on new songs for this record, and that had kind of gradually ceased to a halt really. We came to a point where we could no longer function as four, and we weren't getting to a place where we were all happy with the songs. So yeah, over the weeks and months and over a year of that kind of getting slowly worse, it was like, well, we're either going to just call it a day here, or if we want editors to continue, how are we going to do that? And me, Ed and Russell decided we could no longer do it with Chris in the band. So it was a pretty bleak, dark time for us all. But once we made that decision, we kind of had to figure out how we're going to crack on and make the best of the songs and try and make another record and figure out what we are. And we'd been working with Flood, and Flood knew Justin, and yeah.
Yeah, they invited me down to help them initially cover some shows that they had booked in, and then we just kind of cracked on with writing.
We'd hoped deep down that although we were going to make him play a load of the old songs for this show that we hoped if it had gone well, we were going to throw some new songs out, and that's the way it worked out. Straight away the energy was different to how it had been, and we were talking, and it was creative, and there were no kind of barriers. It was just trying to make the most out of these songs. And we haven't talked about Elliot. Elliot as well was he plays guitars and keyboards and sings, and he's in a band called Airship, and we toured with him, and we wanted 4 to become 5. We didn't want it to be the same 4-person dynamic that we'd been. We felt like it was time. If we're going to change, let's change the fundamental structure of what we are.
It wasn't really at the forefront of our minds when we were making it. It just, you go and you make a record, you don't really think about what people are going to say it sounds like or what they perceive it to be. It's just another tune on a record.
Yeah. What it was it's a deliberately kind of straightforward rock song, that harks back to people like U2, I guess. I mean, I think the U2 comes more about the fact that the hook word I use is desire, and apparently Bono has trademarked that word and no one else is allowed to use it. So that might come to it, but it does hark back to I guess some of their songs outside of that word, but also REM. We were talking about the Cult a lot, the Bunnymen I think equally, and that was the point. We wanted to make that kind of confident, visceral, simplistic rock statement, and but whenever people say things like that about a record of ours, it's not. You can't just say what you think about it. Well, it depends how they say it. It's like, oh, it's just a second-rate version of whoever. That's obviously offensive, and we don't like to hear that. But someone says, oh, this is brilliant. Sounds a bit like such and such, and yeah, cool. That's obviously cool.
It's a great place. It's a very small place, and very laid-back place. And the studio we were in was absolutely amazing. I think the key factor about going to America to record a record is we weren't drawn by things outside the studio. We went in and we were very focused because it's not our town. We don't really if you do a record, say if we did it over here, we're too tempted to go out, do this. And over there we were all 5 working on a record.
Of course, it's nice to get in the charts. Yeah, of course it is. But we're also aware that the landscape has shifted quite a lot in even just the 4 years we've been away. I think 4 years is a long time in this country to be away as a band. Not so much elsewhere, but here things move so quickly. There's such a fascination with bands that are new. We are no longer new anymore. We're kind of 4 albums in, old timers in a way, and so our stature in that time has slipped more than it has done at other places, and that's cool. That's the way it is. Also, Dizzy Rascal is releasing his album on the same day, so I would.
We're going up against that.
That's a big one to go against. But it will be what it will be. We're just gonna,
I just don't think you really make records and think about that when you're making records. I certainly don't.
So yeah, I mean, our record sounds quite old-fashioned.
Yeah. It couldn't be any more against the tide than everybody else's record. So,
it's quite funny to hear people like say, I've heard a few casual off the cuffs like, just a cynical attempt to jump onto such and such market. Well, have you looked at the charts at the moment? If you were trying to aim for success, the record wouldn't sound anything like ours.
You wouldn't make our record.
No. Even you two can't sell any records anymore. It's taken 10 years to make the next one. It's like, you just make the record you want to make and get out and play it to people. If you're being kind of cynical about it, in terms of revenue and the way we make our living, it's from playing live, sure, but equally we enjoy it and we're good at it, and it's always been a big, strong part of what the band is. I think many people have always thought we were better on stage than we are on CD. After the summer, we'll do all of the country, really. Kind of a big academy tour, and it's been a while since we've done that and seen not just your Manchesters and your Londons, but I don't know, your Folkestons and your Prestons, and I'm not saying we're playing there, but places, more regional parts of the country, and so that will be good. I like putting on our own shows, and I think it's nice to put on a gig, and we've 4 out, we've got catalogue now, and 4 different sounding records, and to be able to take the audience on a bit of a journey and show all the sides of what we're about, whereas at festivals you kind of just have to do the immediate stuff, which is equally cool, but not quite so rewarding for us. So yeah, lots of shows.
Sponsored by Boohoo.com. Boohoo.com.